Good day everyone. Let's try to answer some math problem posted on Facebook. And special credits to Master Damir for sharing this wonderful question. And let's start. Here's the question. Solve for the value of x. We have 5 hashtag plus the quantity square root of 5 factorial plus 5 all over 5 double factorial plus 5 triple factorial plus 5 subfactorial minus 5 $sign equals 2 raised to x. Now, if you want to try this problem, just pause this video, and if you're ready, here's the solution. And I hope you pause this video. Now, let's see if you got the correct answer. Before we answer this question, let's try to define some notations on our equation. Now, let's start with 5 factorial. This is what we call factorial. In mathematics, the factorial of a non-negative integer n is denoted by n factorial. It is the product of all positive integers less than or equal to n. Therefore, n factorial is equal to n times n minus 1 times n minus 2 and so on and so forth until we reach 1. Now, a quick example is 5 factorial. 5 factorial is equal to 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, or simply 120. So the value of 5 factorial is simply 120. Now, let's have the next. The next is this symbol, which is what we call the double factorial. Double factorial is almost the same thing as a simple factorial. The difference is n double factorial is simply n times n minus 2 times n minus 4 times n minus 6 and so on and so forth. So we have two cases in double factorial. If n is an even number, you end up with 2. And if n is an odd number, you end up with 1. Now let's have a quick example. Let's have 5 double factorial. So 5 double factorial is equal to 5 times 5 minus 2 will give us 3 times 5 minus 4 will give us 1. So we have 5 times 3 times 1. Or simply, 5 double factorial is equal to 15. Now, let's have the next notation. The next notation is this 5 triple factorial. Now, triple factorial is almost the same thing as double factorial and simple factorial. Now, n triple factorial is equal to n times n minus 3 times n minus 6 times n minus 9 and so on and so forth. Now, let's have a quick example. So, we have 5 triple factorial. So, it's equal to 5 times 5 minus 3 will give us 2. So, we have 5 times 2. And 5 times 2 will give us 10. Therefore, 5 triple factorial is simply 10. Now, let's have another notation. This is what we call 5 subfactorial, or simply derangement. So, derangement is the same thing as subfactorial. Now, in combinatorial mathematics, a derangement is a permutation of elements of a set such that no elements appears in its original position. In other words, a derangement is a permutation that has no fixed point. Now, how do we compute for the value of n subfactorial? N subfactorial is equal to n factorial multiplied by the summation of negative 1 raised to I all over I factorial from I equal to 0 up to n. Of course, there's a shortcut. N subfactorial is equal to the nearest integer to n factorial over e, wherein n factorial is the factorial of n and e is the Euler's number. Therefore, we can say that 5 subfactorial is equal to 5 factorial over e, wherein e is equal to 2.71828 and so on and so forth. And the nearest integer to 5 factorial over e is equal to 44. Therefore, the value of 5 subfactorial is equal to 44. Now, let's have the other notation. So what is the value of this dollar sign? So this is what we call the exponential factorial. So the exponential factorial of a positive integer n is denoted by n dollar sign. And it is equal to n raised to the power of n minus 1, which in turn is raised to the power of n minus 2, and so on and so forth, in a right grouping manner. That is, n dollar sign is equal to n raised to n minus 1, raised to n minus 2, raised to n minus 3, and so on and so forth. Now let's have some example. If we have 5 dollar sign, it is equal to 5 raised to 4, raised to 3, raised to 2, raised to 1. Now let's move on to our last notation, which is 5 hashtag. Now what do we mean by 5 hashtag? It is what we call a primorial. From the word itself, it is the combination of prime numbers and factorial. Therefore, to find the value of n hashtag, what we're going to do is to find the product of all prime numbers less than or equal to n. And that's it. Now let's have a quick example. So what is the value of 5 hashtag? It is equal to 5 times 3 times 2. Because 5, 3, and 2 are the prime numbers less than or equal to 5. Therefore, 5 hashtag is equal to 5 times 3 times 2, or simply 30. Now at this point, we have the value of 5 hashtag. It is equal to 30. 5 factorial, it is equal to 120. 5 double factorial is equal to 15. 5 triple factorial equals to 10. And 5 subfactorial, which is equal to 44. Now at this point, we can now solve for the value of x. Now, recall that 5 hashtag is equal to 30. 5 factorial is equal to 120. 5 double factorial is 15. 5 triple factorial is 10. And 5 subfactorial is 44. Now, 120 plus 5 is 125. All over 15 plus 10 is 25. 125 over 25 will give us 5. 5 plus 44 will give us 49. And the square root of 49 is simply 7. Therefore, our equation becomes 30 plus 7 minus 5 dollar sign equals 2 raised to x. Now, 7 minus 5 will give us 2. So we have 2 dollar sign. And we know the value of 2 dollar sign. It is equal to 2 raised to 1. And 2 raised to 1 is simply 2. Therefore, we have 30 plus 2, or simply 32, equals 2 raised to x. And we can rewrite 32 as 2 raised to 5. Therefore, we have 2 raised to 5 equals 2 raised to x. It follows that x is equal to 5. And we're done.